What is a typical date for a young couple courting? That's a good question. So we call that going steady. And in my experience, I would leave the singing as soon as, we were done singing the last song, and I would go out to the barn, chat with my buddies for a few moments, tell them all goodbye. I would grab my horse, take him out to my buggy, hitch him up, and drive up to the house. And I would flash my lights twice. I had the battery two-way lights. And then I'd wait a second and flash them a third time. That was our signal. That way my girlfriend knew it was my buggy and she wouldn't come out and hop on the wrong buggy. So when we were in her community, they were not allowed to use lights, battery lights on their buggies. They had lanterns in Ashland. So I couldn't flash the lanterns. And one time this girl came out and all the buggies and lanterns looked the same, So this girl comes out and hops on my buggy, and I looked at her and I'm like, I think you have the wrong buggy. And it was dark, you couldn't really see, but she was so embarrassed, and she said, oh my goodness, and she jumped off the buggy and went back inside. I told her, obviously she told my girlfriend who was out there, and my girlfriend came out and she was laughing about it. It was kind of funny. But it was also kind of embarrassing at the same time. But that's some of the things that might happen, But then I would take my girlfriend back to her house, and we were allowed to visit until 2 in the morning. So the singing in her community ended at 10, and my community ended at 9:30. So by the time you drove back to her house, it usually took somewhere around half an hour to drive back to her house. You'd drop her off at the house, take your horse out to the barn, unhitch him, put him away. And then you would go in the house, and you were supposed to stay in the living room. They had a couch set up there with like a wooden couch with a cushion on it. And it was usually right outside her parents' bedroom door. So we would always grab it and take it out into the kitchen, just around the corner, but where they couldn't hear us if we were whispering. So we'd sit out there and just talk all night until 2 in the morning, And sometimes you'd fall asleep and you'd wake up and it was 3, and then you had to hope that, nobody saw you leaving her house that late, because you could be in big trouble for that. And I actually did get in trouble for that one time, but that's the story for another day. But yes, you could not go upstairs. You couldn't go to her room, anything like that. It had to be downstairs, Basically, her parents could have walked out of the bedroom at any point, and they would have been right there. So it was just basically sitting there and talking. And that was all you were supposed to do. And also, in my community, if you were going steady, you would also take your girlfriend to the singing. So you would see each other for a little bit that way on the ride to the singing. And sometimes you would go to her house and eat supper with her and her family before you guys headed to the singing.